let's talk about improving profit performance. And so we had another client, and I'll just give you a simple example, but there's so many that go into running around in my head right now. A trucking and logistics company we got as a client years ago, and their financials were also out of date. They're about 3 months behind, and so they didn't, it was in July and they didn't have April done yet. And so, but the owner, same thing, would go into the office every morning, log into their computer, and go into their bank account and see how much cash they had. And so that was his way of monitoring if the company was making money or not. So we got all of the financials up to date and did a cleanup project to get everything up to date. And, and then we went in and analyzed the data as a financial analyst would do. Typically, business owners don't take the time to analyze the data. Let's just say that. But because we're financial analysts and we're numbers people, we started looking at the numbers. And what we identified was that the temporary labor they had down in the warehouse when they were pulling orders was running around 4% of sales in 2024, but in 2023, 22, 21, it was only running at 2% of sales. Okay, this is $100 million company, so it was a 2% difference in the percentage of sales that they were spending on temporary labor, and 2% of 100 million is $2 million. And when we brought that to the attention of the owner, that he was spending $2 million more per year on temporary labor than he had in the past, he basically flipped out and picked up the phone and called up the warehouse supervisor and told him, "Hey, you got way too many temp people down there. You need to get rid of them." And so, without any financial reports, he wouldn't have known that. I mean, there's a lot of people down there. They look busy. They're all running around looking busy, but the warehouse manager, to his credit, was just trying to make sure he had enough people to get the work done. And so, but there was no financial control over how many people he brought on every day to handle the pulling of orders and preparing of shipments. So there's a good example right there of $2 million that was lost in effect because the company did not have timely financials and nobody was looking at the numbers. So it's one thing I always talk about is know your numbers, know your business. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And again, I'm going to give you some examples of people that have called me up in the last week and said they didn't know their numbers and they need help. And the sad thing is, when you tell them, well, okay, it's going to cost XYZ per month for to do that, they don't want to spend that money, but they'd rather just keep doing it the way they've been doing it, which is ridiculous because they don't really know what's going on in their business.